Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope everybody is doing well. Getting a little slick out here. About to load up to go do a salt run. Before we jump on into it here, just a little bumper on this. Wanted to tell you guys about a great conversation that we had over at the Boston Mastermind, hanging out with Adam with Branded Bull, myself, Mark Bradley, and about 150 of you guys over there with the LMN Mastermind session that we did just about 2 weeks ago. One of the guys there named Tony, he's the videographer. He captured our speech and we're super grateful for that. And I wanted to share it with you guys on YouTube for any of you guys that are looking to learn a little bit more about marketing, branding, SEO, and so much more. Adam and I had about a 20-25 minute session there. This is just a quick excerpt from that whole conversation and thought it could be a good value and a good resource for you guys that are out there looking to grow your marketing, growing your branding this time of year through winter. A little bit more of the working on, not just in your business. So all things being said, if you guys don't know, my brother Adam and his partner Lauren, they started Branded Bull about 4 years ago. They're the ones that redid our website. They're actually redoing it again to take it even to the next level, and they do a phenomenal job. They've launched, I think, about 120 plus green industry websites in the last 18 months. They're on the grow big time, which is super exciting. So all things being said, if you guys need help, I'll leave a link in the description. You can check it out at brandedbull.com. There was no pitch here. There is no pitch here. If you guys want to do all this on your own, take the stuff that Adam shared from this presentation, implement it into your business to help you grow. And if you guys are struggling a little bit, you're looking for somebody that can help you integrate and maybe change and modify and update your logo or your website or your branding, well, that's where Adam and Lauren with Branded Bull come into play. All things being said, super grateful for this opportunity to share. We were part of all 4 masterminds in 2024. It was awesome getting to hang out with hundreds and hundreds of you guys across the country. All things being said, we finally actually captured the video, captured the audio, and have the actual presentation here for you guys today. So sit back, relax. If you guys want to check out the rest of this conversation about marketing and branding, I'll make sure that you guys have Adam's website down below. Reach out to them if you need some help. But it's just a great fun resource for you guys to learn a little bit more about marketing and branding. All right, I gotta hop in the truck. We're going out here, gotta do a salt run. It is icy glazy out. I gotta get moving. All right, guys, over and out. Let's jump into the video.
I'm gonna hand it off to Branded Bull. They're gonna give us another little overview of branding, a little different perspective, and looking forward to what they have to say.
There you go. Hey, really quick before we jump into it, one more time, round of applause for Josh with East Coast. Was that great stuff? Give him a round of applause. Do me another big solid really quick. Big round of applause for Mark Bradley so far. Come on, that's awesome. Before we jump into it, I just got to say, it's really cool to have Josh here with East Coast because I've been talking about the work that they've been doing for the last 3 masterminds, and I didn't know he was going to be here. So that's really, really cool to see him here. Really quick, my name is Brian Fullerton. I run a lawn and landscape company back in Detroit, Michigan called Brian's Lawn Maintenance, and this is actually my younger brother, Adam. We are brothers, so hence the look-alike. But he invited me up here to be a little bit of a guinea pig, part of the presentation here with Branded Bull. How I actually came into this environment, by the way, and I actually came to this same event last year, and it made such a profound impact on my business, my life, my thought process. When Mark was putting this whole schedule together for this year, I said, Mark, is there any way I can pour into the event? And he said, what do you want to talk about? I said, whatever you want me to talk about, but I love all things sales and marketing. And he invited us to come on out as Branded Bull, which I have a small stake in Branded Bull. So that's where we came here. So I'm one of you guys. I admittedly do not look like this during the day, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate, but dressed for the occasion, right? So that's my background, and I'll kick it over to Adam.
Hello, Tessa, sorry. Adam Fullerton with Branded Bull. I'm one of the founders of Branded Bull. Excited to be here. This is the 4th LMN session in, as many weeks. So a lot of travel, a lot of fun, a lot of great conversations. And, at the end of this, I invite each and every one of you to, come over, chat with us if you have further questions, if we can help, whatever we can do to make your lives better, your businesses better, and so forth. Background about us. Branded Bull, 40 years of experience with branding, marketing, advertising, working for some very large companies, doing this for said companies. And at this point, it's been amazing, and I can say this, it's fun. We've helped hundreds of lawn care and landscaping businesses with their branding. And like I said, a little bit different from the previous presentation in terms of what we do. But what we want to talk about is the power of having a professional looking brand and the power of having a professional looking presence wherever that might be. That could be on LinkedIn, that could be on your website, that could be on social media. It doesn't really matter. It's actually every single touch point you have with a potential customer. That's something you need to consider when you talk about branding. So it was discussed previously, your brand. Our philosophy is a little bit different in the sense that branding is about your reputation. It is about what the customer thinks of your business every single time they hear about your business or see your logo. And you want to protect that at all costs, right? You want to protect the integrity of your name and the perception of your business in the minds of your customers. So, of course, it's not just a logo, which was talked about, 100% agree, and it's the perception that people have in their minds, right? And what you have to do is figure out how can you influence your potential customers' mind in terms of what they think about your business. And that is, to us, a very key component of branding. And we'll talk more about what you're doing with your business, Brian, from where you are now to where you're trying to get to and what you have to do to evolve that perception in the minds of your customers. So, in the landscaping industry as well, we talked about a previous presentation, differentiation is obviously extremely important, and you want to make sure that you're consistent, you're cohesive, and you want to stand out from the crowd, and that's what we're all about. So we like to start on the other side of the branding equation. Before you can produce media, you have to have an image in your head and in your customer's head of what you are, who are you, how can you help them. And as silly as it is, you got to start all the way back of what does my logo look like? Because most times, that's going to be the first interaction people have with your brand or your business. And if you want to attract the right clientele, same thing if you're trying to go get a job, right? When you go to a job, you put on a suit and tie, it's the same thing. It's about first impressions, it's about looking the part and making sure that something like your logo is working in your favor. So we specialize more in the brand image, the websites and SEO and graphic design world, so that when you guys have an idea in your head of who you are or who you're trying to become in the next 5 years, okay, let's go all the way back to the drawing board in terms of level 1. What's your logo look like? What's your website look like? What are the graphics that you use to attract those types of customers and communicate with them? And then, hell yeah, invest into media, because that stuff's awesome and it's only going to enhance anything that you produce on your website, for example, or in social media. So that's what we do on our end. A couple examples here. When we work with customers, it's understanding, hey, again, what does a logo look like? Consistency and cohesion is important. So when you guys say, oh, I want to get a vehicle wrapped, what should a vehicle wrap look like? Well, I want to have a website. Well, what should your website look like? Oh, I want to have flyers that go out to everybody. What should those look like? And that's where we can come in and definitely help you with those types of decisions, those types of designs, and making sure that, again, everything looks cohesive, looks very professional, and helps you ultimately stand out from all the other people in your industry. And again, your industry is extremely competitive. We'll talk about the website, again, kind of where we specialize with the image, the website, and the graphics. This is typically, like we all go to Google, we all go to clicking the first couple links, and we're going to go to your website to learn more. And so while we can't help you with every single component of your brand, and I challenge you to think about your business as a brand, put yourself in the shoes of your customer. Every single interaction you have with a company is, in our opinion, branding. So what does the website look like? Sure. But how do you pick up the phone? What does your voicemail sound like? What does your email signature look like? All of these, how do you show up to the job site? And these are all things that you should consider to make sure you're looking the part, again, to attract the right type of customers. But obviously, one of the most important things that you could possibly have for a business is being found on Google, of course, and having a website that tells people who the hell you are and what the hell you offer. And of course, how they get in touch with you. And that's where that comes into play. And I know, Brian, you can touch on your website, for example, as a case study. And we have some other case studies that we'll go through in a minute. But as a case study to your business of where you were before, especially with your website, or didn't have one, and where you're trying to get to, and kind of explain how that's helped your business.
For sure. Well, this is the payback of 20 years of picking on the little brother, right? Now he gets to pick on me. So here we go. Yeah. But long story short, my company has been around for a little while, and we've got some great branding recognition in our market. But where we're at where we've been and where we want to go are an entirely different conversation. And really, Adam came out about 4 years ago with Branded Bull and started offering a couple different products and services, and just right place, right time with also the pivot that I wanted to make in my company. So long story short, we went from the small, and we still are the little bit smaller business that's got a residential focus and a residential background. And over the last couple of years, as I've aspired to grow and want to take our company to the next level, go figure, hanging around environments like this will aspire you to grow to the next level, right, Mark? This has made me rethink a lot of what we are, who we are, what we're doing, and like Adam said, the way we're communicating to our market. And also, like I said, I ironically enough look up to the guys like at East Coast and the Hidden Creek with
That's a ranch, isn't it? Hidden
yeah,
Valley
I think
Ranch.
that's a ranch.
Yeah.
Hidden Creek with Jason Cromley, and they're putting up some great content and some great branding. Well, over the last couple of years, we went from, and we are, going from that small residential outfit to somebody that wants to be known as somebody that's a player in commercial site maintenance and commercial site management. Now, thankfully, I don't want to compete with the East Coast guys. I want to get that sweet spot in the middle. My local 1,000-pound gorilla in the room, Troy Clogg, gets to play at the big boy level with those guys. But for us personally, we want to go from that residential firm to a little bit more of a smart, tech-looking company that is in the middle to large size space for site management. And so we're going through this whole process ourselves with Branded Bull. A lot of words to say this. Let me ask you guys this. Who here feels right now that your marketing and branding is hitting out on all 8 cylinders and you're 100% wouldn't change a thing? For sure. That was me a couple of years ago as well, and we're still in that process. Who here feels like they got a little bit of work to do to get to where they look like an East Coast? It's okay. You can put your hand up. It's a safe space. Right? So that's where Branded Bull comes in as the integrator to help you guys do that. For us personally, we're on this journey ourselves. I know Adam's got a couple more slides that we're going to go through, but we're really doubling down and focusing on the outbound marketing and the imagery and the way we're trying to create that feeling. I love that description by Josh earlier, the feeling, so that when people are looking for a local firm, they choose us, like Josh was alluding to. So he couldn't have said it better. But back to you, Adam. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, we're more like if you're trying to figure out that logo, trying to figure out that color scheme, trying to figure out what kind of fonts you should use and those brand packages, that's amazing. And that's something we can absolutely help you with, because at the end of the day, like Mark said, it's not about where you're at now. It's about growing and thinking about the company you want to be in 5 years. And how do you need to present yourself across every single aspect of your business that your customer can potentially interact with? And again, back to the whole website thing, because this is just one of our few specialties and something we focus on and we do really well, to be completely honest. And a lot of customers that we have come to us and this is what they look like. And there's nothing bad about it. There's no shade being thrown their way, but we can do better and we can do things that are more modern, and we can make sure that your brand, your services, who you are as companies can really shine and come through on, again, arguably, one of the single most important tools within your business, which is your online presence and specifically your website. And so, again, if this is who you are, it's not bad. Everything's an evolution. And if you feel like you're not firing on all 8 cylinders, or again, I invite you to come over. If you want us to look at your stuff, happy to do so. And we can say, hey, like things are great, do what you're doing, or hey, you might not want to consider X, Y, or Z, so that you can ultimately get to the point where you're trying to get to with a little bit less friction along the way, right? And so just a few case studies really quick to show you guys, okay, this is great, like what have we done? Show me visuals. I think we're all visual learners in one way or another. But we're a company that can truly help you, whether you're less than 500, and Mark was showing the different 7 different levels, and people say, well, where am I in this, and how do you help me? Can you help me if I'm this guy or this guy and this guy? And the answer is yes. And so we pride ourselves on being a company that says, hey, if you're less than 500, Jeffrey O's, I'm going to point at you, and smaller guy, a couple people working for you, nothing crazy, but you have big dreams and aspirations. So trying to set you up for that growth and that type of business through, of course, the work that we do. So this is a case study of Bluestone. They were doing about $190,000 when we talked to them. They 150% increase in revenue since the rebrand. Big dreams. They're going to $1 million next year, but then on and on and on. So they said, hey, I want a professional-looking logo. I want to be respected. I want to stand out. I'm thinking of vehicle wraps, apparel. Boom, there you go. We can actually take that and translate that into things you can take home with you, in a sense. A logo, the website, the apparel, the vehicle wrap you can get installed at a local vendor, to have that consistency, to actually put your image out in the market wherever it is that you might be serving and the types of customers you might be serving. Another example, this is kind of the next layer up or next level up, I would say, is the Almonds, which they're on social media. I'm sure a few of you at least have heard of them, but they're a landscaping company that came to us and they said, hey, we want to upgrade our branding and our marketing and our website. And on the top, you'll see where they were. And on the bottom, unfortunately, it's not interactive, but go to almondlandscape.com. And they came to us and they said, hey, we're trying to grow into the next level. And one of the biggest things that we want from a company is to understand not only our needs, right, and our industry, but the type of customers we're trying to attract and the type of business we're trying to create. And I'm sure you can all relate with that. And so through the process, through the discussions, through the conversations, we figured out what kind of company they're trying to become in 5 years. And so we said, okay, great, let's build for that now. And so what we did is we looked at Yeti and their website. They said to us, hey, Yeti is extremely professional, very rugged, really premium and expensive. If you have ever shopped Yeti products, they're pretty expensive. And we said, cool, that's the type of company that you're trying to become and the type of image that you're trying to produce and put into the market, especially on their website. Awesome, let's rock and roll. And I, again, invite you, check out their website, because it's not to say what you have isn't working or isn't great, but can it be better? Is it fitting the bill in terms of who you are now and who you're trying to become? And in their case, in the Almond Landscape case, who they were was never going to attract the right type of customer that they were after. So we built them something that said, this is going to attract the right customer, especially when you're going after $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $100,000 projects in their particular market. Last and not least, we like to say, hey, this is kind of like the next level up. This is Bellmeyer Premier Solutions out in Colorado. This was a landscaping company that was acquired by a couple, and they're a larger operation. And they came to us, and I say this to say, and we've worked with even larger clients. It's funny when you see kind of where you're at, where you're trying to get to, and a lot of people think, hey, I'm a small guy, yeah, I need a new logo and all of that. But there are massive companies that go through rebrands all the time. And we've helped many of them. And it's amazing to think about, hey, it's an evolution, not just a final product. And this is an example of a very large company that came to us saying, hey, we need to evolve. The business is kind of stagnant, it's a little stale, we need a refresh. Can you guys help us? Yeah, absolutely. New logo, new website, new marketing material, all the great things. And so these are just a few examples of people we have worked with. Brian, again, share your story in just a second about where you are, where you're trying to get to. But again, I invite you guys, think about where you're at now. Think about where you're going to be in 5 years. And if you feel like your logo, your branding, your website, your graphics, they're not working for you, they're not attracting the right clientele, let's talk. Let's have a conversation. And any advice or support we can provide is amazing. And again, you're going through this whole process yourself.
Yeah, one thing I'll tell you is that elephant in the room, we don't have the exact same bankroll as East Coast facilities, right? So we're bootstrapping, and I'm sure that's a question in some of you guys' minds, right? First off, let's just slow down the speed up. Who liked those videos from East Coast facilities? Who thought those were phenomenal, right? Yes, they spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars for sure on their payroll. But what I will tell you as well is that every one of you guys know a guy or gal somewhere in your local town or market that does videography and photography work these days. Everybody's shooting video, and for a couple $100 or a couple $1,000, more than likely you can bring in a firm locally to film your stuff for the day, maybe a couple times a year, put that investment into it, and then you're able to have them chop it up into sizzle reels, highlight reels, before and after photos, so much more. And then, of course, you can give that content to somebody like Adam, or, of course, do it on your own for sure. And you're able to change that image and change that story that you're trying to communicate to your customers on your website and all your different platforms. Actually, really quickly, Tony, over here in the corner, you don't know I'm picking on you, but really quick, let me ask you this. You do videography and photography work, right? If one of these guys were here to just call you, maybe let's just say you were available, how much would it cost to have you coming out for the day and shoot some buttery smooth B-roll and some really slick photos and some really great content, edit it up, and maybe put a couple sizzle reels together? You know what that language means. Maybe they don't just yet, but if they came to you and said, that's what I need, how much could a package cost for you to shoot their company?
Per day, low end might be $1,500, $2,000, and depending on how many deliverables, because that's company
Sure.
It can go as high as 10K.
10K. So 1 grand to 10 grand, that's a pretty decent range. Probably 2 to 5 grand, for sure. Anybody here running a $500,000 million company can scrap up 2 to 5,000 bucks, for sure. Let me ask you this. Let's just say Josh and his team put $50,000 together for that Amazon video, the girl singing, which was beautiful. How much do you think one contract pays for at least one Amazon? Probably 50 to 80,000 bucks done, right? Let's say they got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 of those facilities. What do you think the return on investment of that is for one video that was 50,000 bucks? Thousands of % returns, right? So don't think that, well, we're not East Coast facility. I don't know how to integrate this stuff. I'm telling you, this is the sauce. Go grab your local person, find somebody that fits the aesthetic, the mood, and what you're trying to communicate. Storyboard, get a little bit of a shot list, have all your people actually shave that day, and then actually go out there and film some videos, okay? It's not that complicated, okay? I bring a guy over from Kansas City, Missouri. He fit the aesthetic of what I like. It was $6 grand. He came on over for the day, shot a bunch of sizzle reels, and that's what we have on our website. My guy right now is on call in Detroit, another guy. It's kind of hard to bring somebody over from Kansas City, Missouri to film snow content because he's 5 states away. But my local guy in Detroit, he's on call. I said, hey, I want another sizzle reel for snow. It's going to look just like East Coast. I'm telling you, like, you're not going to know the difference between East Coast and my company because marketing is a great equalizer with my video guy by the time I'm done. And that's the difference, right? So shout out to Josh's team and all that, but I'm not trying to compete with anything that they're doing. But I can get the same video guy for a couple $1,000, bring him in, and I can look like East Coast. Now, of course, I got to deliver, just like Josh said, but all you guys have that exact same opportunity. So don't feel like, well, I'll never look like that or I'll never get there. I'm telling you, it's a couple $1,000, a little bit of intentionality, and that's all you need to do. But we're going to do the exact same thing for our snow business here in the next couple of weeks. The first couple of plow runs and salt runs, we wanted to get the rust out of the system. But after that, we're going to have my guy coming over and shoot a bunch of great content as well. And check it out on our socials and our website if you guys want. And I'm telling you, that's going to be the business card that we hand out to all those sites that I'm trying to get for snow. So I've got one for landscaping. We're going to have one for snow. And then, of course, we're just going to keep doubling down on that. But I just want to give you guys maybe like the integration of how you go from maybe where we're at to looking something like East Coast. Don't think you have to have millions of dollars. And I think one of the best mic drop moments for Josh, wherever he's at in the room, was how many people, there you go, how many people do you have on your media team? And he said, 500. Love that. There's a buddy of mine, he's got a company back up in Flint, Michigan. He's got 100 guys working for him, Mark. And every time he goes out, he always says, I love my guys, but I'm just so disappointed. I go, why? He goes, we didn't grab a single photo while we were out there, a single ounce of video. And it's the good old, like, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around to hear it, does it even make a sound? Guys, I'm telling you what, don't sleep on video, don't sleep on photo. If you're too busy for it, hire somebody. It's the best money you can spend, and like Josh said, it's so underpriced right now, the attention that you can get out there, okay? So that's my little shtick on that, and that's what I'm excited about. I get all fired up, Josh. You get me all, let's frickin' go, bro.
Can you tell a story? And we don't want to take up too much time, but can you tell a story about kind of the evolution of your business from a branding standpoint, and of course from your website, and kind of where you were, Brian? Because I think a lot of people in this room, they look at you or they listen to you or follow you or just understand your size of business, of where you're at and what you're trying to become, and that whole journey as well.
Yeah, well, admittedly, we went from the first great sin of not having a website, not being on social, right? Let's just keep it really simple. Who here does not have a website? A couple people? Yep. Who here has a website that hasn't been updated in a couple of years? Admittedly, for sure. Who here just knows that their website needs some help in general? That's the other half of the room, right? For me personally, we went from not really having a huge social media presence, not really having a website presence for the business, not just social media, YouTube world, right? But for the actual business. And so I told Adam, phase 1, I need to get on. And now in the last 12, 18 months, we've really, I feel, done a really good job about that. Dollars and cents, we've picked up about 6 to 10 new commercial sites. Revenue, if we had a rolling calendar year, will be up about 30 to 40%. We're talking $100,000, $200,000 worth of growth in our company. And we're just starting to poke it. I was having kids, building a house. There's a lot going on in life. So this same time next year, I guarantee we're going to take this thing to 750 to $1 million. I'm telling you, we're fired up and ready to go. But right now, we're going through that same evolution of where we're at today. I'm like, you know what? We need to change some things. We need to dial it in again. And so call up the phone with Adam, spend a whole bunch of money, argue about who's cutting a deal where. Just kidding. And I said, don't I get the friends and family discount? But that being said, we're going to take our marketing and evolution to the next level again because we're still dialing it in to kind of look and present, sort of like the Hidden Creeks, the East Coast, the Perfect Cuts, even the Bright Views, those kind of guys with that smart tech-enabled business, because that's what I know the office managers and the facility managers are looking for. Does that make sense? And that's what I want to do with my company, with where I want to go. Perhaps you're doing high-end residential landscaping and outdoor livings. Find the best people that compete in that space and emulate what they're doing.
Yeah, 100%. And again, I just think it's good to hear the story, because I think branding, marketing, business it's an evolution, and as you grow, as you evolve, the outward-facing image of your company should evolve with it to continually meet your needs. So again, thank you, Brian, for that. Kind of the last point here, key takeaways. We just focus on the brand image, the websites and SEO, the graphic design. There's some statistics up here. At the end of the day, modern websites perform, they produce a return, they represent your business, and you have to make sure you look the part in order to attract the right clientele. And there's phenomenal partners for media that we can work with and help represent your business online. And we'll, again, invite you to do that. Talk with us if you're looking for that help or have any questions. But there's no doubt about it. The more you invest into marketing, if you're doing it right, the more you're investing into branding and doing it right, it pays dividends for years and years. And I'm sure, Josh, you can attest to that as well. And so, again, we're more on the integration side of it. Would love to help and make sure that you guys can actually take these ideas, take this vision, and create something that attracts the right people. Yeah.
One last thought before we wrap this thing up. Just super grateful and thankful for the time to be up here with you guys. Mark didn't ask me to do this, but let me just ask you guys, who here is on LMN? Raise your hand if you are on LMN. Who here is not on LMN? It's okay, you're in a safe space. I'll just tell you guys, from me to you, nobody asked me to say this, I'll just tell you, I came to one of these events last year, wasn't on LMN. We did end up signing up. We ended up drinking the Kool-Aid, as I call it. And I will just assure you guys, if you're taking a look at the software or just this environment and this room in general, my prayer is that you give it a fair shake and you give it a fair nod. I'll just tell you, the last 12 months have been some of the most explosive growth. Yes, financially, yes, top line, even bottom line, but I'll just tell you, mentally, the breakthroughs that we've had, this environment, this group of people, you're home. This is where you guys need to be. So if you've not signed up, check out their team, make connections, make friends. But I'm just telling you, it has been the best decision that I've made personally for my company in the last 12, 18 months. So I just want to tell you guys honestly, if you haven't signed up with Element, it's more than just software. It's a philosophy. It's a way of doing business. And that's why I'm so sold out to that guy back there. So thank you guys so much for the time. Appreciate you guys. We love you. Anything else you want to add?
No, just again, if you guys have questions, we're here. We'll be here today, tomorrow, website. We have a podcast that we launched a little while ago as well. Again, 40 years of knowledge and education and information. It's impossible to distill it down into 20 minutes or whatever we've been talking to. So if you guys do have more desire to learn, check out the podcast, check out Instagram, connect with us. We're here to help.
There you go. All right, thank you guys.